All right, welcome to Chapter 2. After a very successful Chapter 1, we're going to look at modeling distributions of data. Our first section, Section 2.1, we'll spend time on describing location in a distribution. So some of this we've already done a little bit, at least the previewed some of this, like find and interpret the percentile. We've talked a little bit about percentiles, like the Q1 is the 25th percentile, and the Q3 is the 75th percentile. We're going to estimate percentiles and individuals using a cumulative relative frequency graph. Now that's a long name. We'll learn that as what's called an ogive. And we'll find and interpret standardized scores, or Z-scores. That's a huge thing in statistics. And then we'll describe the effect of adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing data by a certain number and see how it affects the shape, center, spread, basically the socks of a distribution. Alright, so here we go. First thing, measuring precision. We're going to look at percentiles. So we've looked a little bit up at the 25th percentile and the 75th percentile as the Q1 and the Q3. What we're going to do is we're going to look at any percentile. So we're going to look at the pth percentile of a distribution. And that is the value with p% of the observations less than it. All right, so here's our first example. So Jenny, she earned a score of 86 on her test. How does she perform relative to the rest of the class? Well, let me see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we can see that she's the 22nd. Look there, she's the 22nd score on the list, which means 21 people are less than her. So 23, 24, 25, so there's 25 people. So her score was greater than 21 of the 25 observations. It says 21 of 25 is 84%. So in other words, 84% of the scores are below hers. She's at the 84th percentile in her class. So again, remember, the way we'll calculate percentiles is the value of the observations, the percent of the observations that are less than that. There are actually some other ways to calculate it. If you Googled it and found some different ways, perfectly legit, but this is the way our textbook goes about presenting percentiles. So we're going to stick with that just to be consistent for all of us. All right. We then look at a cumulative relative frequency graph. And again, as I mentioned earlier, those are called ogives. Not ogives, but ogives. It displays the cumulative relative frequency. Now we remember from earlier, relative frequency just simply means percent of each class of a frequency distribution. So here we've got the age of the first 44 presidents when they were inaugurated. It does not include the 45th president, as this book was published before that election was determined. So we can see that we've got 2 presidents that were inaugurated when they were between 40 and 44, etc., etc., etc. We've got 3 presidents that were inaugurated with their ages between 65 and 69. So we can calculate the relative frequency, which is just simply, again, that percent. So again, 2 out of 44, 7 out of 44, those are the individual percents of each of those different classes. But we're interested in finding the cumulative relative frequency. So cumulative means to add them up. So here we have 2 presidents between 40 and 49. And then if we get up to 49, we've got a total of 2 plus 7. That gives us that 9. All right. So this 22 is all 3 of these added up to give you the 22. So there are all 12 of these, or all of these, all 34 of those being added up. All 4 of those categories to be added up to 34, etc., etc. Then we can take the percentages of each of these different classes. So we have 2 out of 44, 9 out of 44. And you can see what it does is it gets us up to that 100% for that last category, that last class. And then this is what we're plotting to make the cumulative relative frequency graph, or in other words, our ogive. So you can see that as we get to that, right before that 44, 45, right here we're at roughly about 4.5%. And then up through this category here, we got about to 20.5% as we get up to right to the 50 mark, up to 50% here as we get to the age of 55. So you can see that's roughly there about at 50%, which would actually mark the median at that point. And et cetera, et cetera. All these OJs should always kind of follow this pattern and get this leveled off pattern here at the end to that 100%. Other thing we're going to look at in the first day is what's called a Z-score. This is a huge, huge topic in statistics. So one formula you will have to remember and we'll use over and over and over again all year long. So Z-score tells us how many standard deviations from the mean an observation falls and in what direction. Again, that direction will either be positive or negative. So again, that would be to the right of the mean or to the left of the mean. So if an observation from a distribution that has a known mean, so again you have a known mean and standard deviation, the standardized score, or a lot of times we just like to call that a Z-score. The Z-score is calculated by taking that individual score, again this is the individual score that you're investigating, that individual score, minus the mean, which is usually abbreviated as x bar, and that standard, and divided by the standard deviation, which is usually abbreviated s sub x. So let's go back and look at Jenny. She scored that 86 on her test. That was her score. That was her individual score. The class mean is 80, so that's what we have here. And the standard deviation was 6.07, so they had the raw data to calculate all this information to get that mean and that standard deviation, or they just gave you it and you have to trust it. So we just want to figure out our standardized score, so it's a matter of just putting those numbers into the formula and calculating. So again, what this means is that her score of 86 is 0.99 above, because the value is positive, the mean. So she's roughly about one standardized score above the mean. Well, that's about all we have for the first day. We'll turn you loose here to work on your problems for the first day. And those are numbers 1, 3, 5, 9, 11, 13, and 15. All right. Good luck with your start in Chapter 2, and remember to always do your problems with integrity. See you on day 2.